What's going on there, peeps? We back with another one, man. And I appreciate all of you hitting up the comments. We briefly covered this Malika Andrews, Rachel Nichols situation a couple weeks ago. But there was one comment that stood out and said, what about when Rachel Nichols did the same thing to Derrick Rose? And I was thinking to myself, what are you talking about? So I went and I did my research. And Rachel Nichols did indeed throw shade on Derrick Rose's biggest moment. Do you remember all the injuries Derrick Rose had in Chicago? And then he went to play, I believe he went to play with New York. He went to play with Cleveland. And then he ended up in Minnesota. D Rose was kind of reborn there. Got his footing and even had his career high outside of what we would consider his prime. He dropped 50 points. And I had to go back and see what they were talking about because they said Rachel Nichols was very hard on him at that time. So check out what she had to say and I'm going to tell you what I think about it.
Plenty of people try to wrap this as the grand healing moment in the Wolves' fractured season. And well, look, I absolutely believe great games can do a lot to bring a locker room together. Derrick Rose dropping 50 in one night, it's not going to magically fix the obvious tug of war going on over Jimmy Butler wanting to be traded and all the bad feelings that is continuing to evoke. Number two, there was the massive redemption narrative that everybody hurried into about how much Derrick had overcome and persevered through, which is both absolutely true and completely false depending on what you're talking about. However, there is also the absolute fact that 2 years ago, Rose was accused of participating in a gang rape. A civil trial found him not liable, but a lot of Rose's own testimony was troubling. And regardless of how you personally judge what happened there, watching people last night bring that trial up and then try to gloss over it as something Rose went through as adversity for him, that was cringe-inducing to say the least. And I also think it's okay to talk in real terms about what he's done off of it, both the good and the bad. Derrick Rose, he was the story last night, and it is all part of his story.
When I saw that, I thought a couple of things. One, why speak on that at that time? Derrick Rose had already been found not liable. So why are we talking about this now when he's getting his roses, when he's getting his flowers or whatever? Because frankly, I felt like everybody had already talked about it. Everybody had covered that at some of his lower moments. Most people were talking about him redeeming himself on the court based on him leaving and him going, him taking time away from teams, not knowing if he still wanted to play, showing that type of resolve, battling through the injuries and everything. Now, and the other thing that I thought though, is it Rachel or is it Malika at all? Because this seems to be a recurring theme on ESPN shows, NBA Today, The Jump. Seems like they have the moderator speak about these things at opportune times. That's just me. That's what I think, because it sounds very familiar with what Malika does and when she does it. Like Malika did the thing with Adrien Payne after his death. Once Joe Mazzulla was announced that he was replacing Ime Udoka, that's the time they chose to do him like that. So I feel like this may be a network problem more than a specific person. Now Malika, she's had her run in with the cast, but that's kind of like a personal thing or whatever. But to talk about somebody under extreme conditions, like if somebody dies, you bring up something from college, or somebody's getting hired, or they are, or they have a career high or something, and then you have to use that time to speak ill on them. I feel like, man, it just seems like the network is doing that, because if it's coming from both Malika and Rachel, it's time we look at that. And maybe some of Malika's criticism may be a little unfair when I look at it from this perspective. I appreciate I can't remember who said check out that video, but I did, and I appreciate you for bringing that up, because that is, that's a conversation that should be had. Are they forcing the moderators to do this, or is that a part of their job and they're just taking the fall for what the network wants? Like, is the moderator taking all the backlash for something the network is wanting? I don't know, man. Let me know what y'all think. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time. Peace.